Hello and welcome to a 4PSA tutorial. In this video we'll explain how to set up a SIP channel in VoipNow Professional's interface. We are now logged in as the administrator and looking at the channel management page. To add a SIP channel, click the Add SIP Channel icon in the Tools area. It is important to note that starting with version 2.5.1 of VoipNow, SIP channels can be configured with the help of predefined provided templates. By using templates, you'll be able to easily set up the channels for a particular provider without having to fill in every parameter. However, in this tutorial, we will configure the channels manually. The first setting you see on the page allows you to clone settings from an existing SIP channel. The advantages of this option is that it allows you to create channels with similar or identical structures much faster. When choosing one from the drop-down list, you will notice that the settings in the channel preferences are automatically replicated. We'll take advantage of this feature to save some time. Next, we have the name text box, where you can fill in a descriptive name to identify the channel. Then you can assign the channel to one of the existing groups. The first field displays available groups, and you can click on a group to assign it. If you don't see any groups in this field, this means you haven't defined any. You can create channel groups from the channel management page by clicking on the Add Channel Group icon. Next, we have channel notes, where you can fill in a relevant short description for the channel. In the I want to configure the channel area, you can choose between manually and using known provider. The latter lets you take advantage of the provider templates we mentioned earlier. In this case, we have already selected manually, so we can proceed to fill in the details for configuring the channel. In the channel preference section, you'll be able to set all the options that define the channel behavior. In the first field, you'll need to enter the host name or IP address and then the port of the SIP provider server. The port is required only if the host name can be resolved using DNS SRV. Now you will have to choose the IP address or addresses from which the system will accept calls. You can add multiple addresses or remove them by using the plus and minus buttons on the right side of the field. You may also fill in the address of the record for which registration will be created or updated on the service provider's registrar server. The value specified will represent the username for the to and from SIP headers. If no authorization username is specified, then this value will be used for the username SIP header as well. The username can contain only the 26 letters of the Latin alphabet, any combination of the 10 decimals, and special characters such as dot, at, underscore, or hyphen. You can read this parameter as, "We are registering as." After this, fill in the password used for authorization with the service provider's registrar server. The password you set can include the 26 letters of the Latin alphabet, the 10 decimals, and special characters. Then fill in the password again to confirm it. If you don't want to register before you connect to the provider, make sure you check this box. The value you enter in the authorization username box will overwrite the username used for authorization with the service provider's registrar server. You can read this parameter as "we authenticate as." Next, you can set the number of concurrent calls available. This is useful when your SIP provider limits the number of calls through the channel. When the limit is reached, and the provider no longer accepts calls, the channel will no longer be selected by the routing engine. This concludes the settings options we will cover in this 4PSA video. Thank you for watching. To learn about the remaining settings, please watch the second part of the tutorial.